What is the topic?
You know how this works. The topic is never revealed until about 2 minutes in.
Dimensions.
No,
that was
we are
revealed
not.
4 weeks ago.
We are not talking about that again.
But-
no, screw you. You have no rights over this one.
But you told me about the topic like 3 weeks before.
Because that was an early episode. This one is a late episode, which means that there are different rules, such as the topic is revealed 3 minutes from 3 minutes in.
So it's more like the U.S. Constitution where they change it every 3 seconds.
Hey, they change it every 2 seconds only to suit them.
Nice. What is the topic?
Well, first of all, the topic is relative. Like, what I'm saying something is actually, according to Einstein's theory of relativity, might actually be interpreted differently from your perspective. But then that also means that nothing is true anymore because you can always claim that A equals B from your perspective no matter what. So everything falls apart and logic breaks down. So you can't claim that. But Einstein says that you can't claim that. So it's like, what?
So Einstein ruined logic 101.
Basically.
And the fourth dimension.
How's the programming thing going? Like,
What is programming?
like how programming is defined as you writing code.
Mm-hmm.
Like as in the high, that's the high school definition. Like aren't you making something? Aren't you making like the card game from Mr. Shields?
Oh, that finished like a couple of weeks ago.
No, but you wrote that, right? How did you make it?
Should I pull it up?
Sure.
Is this going to be cut or something so that it's not that boring?
It's fine.
Okay, if I can find it, because I didn't organize my desktop for 3 weeks, which means
That's why you should organize it.
I have
So what does this do?
it just randomly selects cards. Should we explain the game first?
No. I just want to ask why it does.
Oh, it randomly chooses cards without any strategy and executes the game with showing the user the cards.
Well, what's the thought process? Like, how do you go from nothing to this program?
3 hours on an afternoon.
No, but tell me, how do you come up with what to write first, and then how do you write it, and like the engineering design process, but for coding?
Are you leading up to design cycles?
That's kind of yes, but
Nice.
anyways, do you want to talk about that or?
First, I just tried to do pseudocode and just wrote everything in sentences and then turned them into code.
That's so vague.
So I don't have a process portfolio for this because I was an idiot. So
But there's gotta be some errors that pop up. Like there's gotta be some way of thinking about a problem. Like, don't you first get a big problem, catalyze into different small problems, and then individually write pseudocode for each of them, and then you don't do that.
I don't.
You don't you just ram through the whole thing at once.
Kind of. Am I a terrible CS student?
No, you are not a terrible CS student. Everyone has their own ways of doing things.
Well, how do you write code?
Step 1, get a huge problem. Step 2, break it down into 4 or 5 or 6 small problems. Write pseudocode for each and every single one of them. Then write code for every single one of them. The end.
Nice.
Like, it really goes to show there's no one correct way to write code. It's just, it's better to have a plan first than just hitting it with a hammer and hoping that it works.
Isn't this podcast? There was
What?
no plan. Hitting it with a hammer and hope it works.
Yes, this podcast has no plan. I came up with this idea on the spot.
Nice.
So what is a design cycle?
I think Mr. Rambert's gonna yell at me if I just say it out loud. So let's search it online.
Saying that will get him to yell at you.
Like, design cycle is a type of process that you use for design. It's for making anything, really.
Design cycle is a cycle that's used to create design. Anyways.
So there's usually there's different ways to approach it, but I think the IB has 6.
What?
Doesn't the IB really value design cycle, especially in MYP and PYP?
But I don't know what MMP or PYP is.
Oh, sorry, middle year program and primary year
What about
program.
it? What about it?
Oh, it's IB, but we only have diploma. But there's ones for tiny little kids and slightly bigger tiny little kids, and then there's also CP. Sorry, that got off on a tangent.
What do you even learn during those?
I haven't looked into it quickly, very deeply, but up to MIP or CP, but CP is like DP, except you only take 2 classes and you have to integrate it into like working.
Fair enough.
Sorry.
But
design cycles.
yeah,
Yes.
back to that
Usually
problem.
There's like 6 steps. Mr. Weinberg's design cycles are like investigating. Let's pull it up because I have it there. Investigating and then. Let's
I mean,
pull
but
up
I mean,
Paris.
but that's Mr. Weimar's definition, not your definition. Don't you have your own definition of it? You don't have your own definition of it?
I guess it's like a way to combat like the habit of just taking a really long time to make one prototype, breaking it up so that
Well, it makes it easier and quickly.
it's not easier. It's a lot harder, but it's like hard fun.
So what exactly is it? Like the process?
It's like you first have to create a design. It could be super complicated and crazy, involving 4th-dimensional tesseracts.
No, we're not getting that deep today.
Even involving 4-dimensional tesseracts.
No.
However, you kind of have to like tone it down to be able to make your first prototype.
Yeah.
For example, when we made our first prototype for our most recent projects in robotics and engineering technology class, we had like ball shooting and Vex robotics involved with tesseracts from the 4th dimension, terraxoids from the 4th dimension. But we have to scale it down and just use
I'm
LEDs.
be forced to interrupt here. No 4th dimension BS.
It's not
legitimately.
BS. It's not BS.
It's
There's
just
a reason why I have
she's
to
just
ban the topic.
she's just bringing it up in a completely different topic.
Banned.
Okay, Hina, never
For the
ever-
sake of my editing and my brain land to re-listen to this.
You don't have a brain. Ow.
I'm sorry. I can censor you.
This is why you should edit them.
What?
I can
This
pull
is
a
why you
good old
should edit
communist China on
And
your
this is
back.
illegal, right?
This is staying in, by the way, because humor's sake is humor.
It's not. It's
You're
not
not
funny.
humorous.
It's not funny.
Says the person laughing.
But that's because I have resting
Says the
smiling
person
face.
laughing.
I'm sorry that I have resting
Laughing is
smiling
but relative to each individual.
Okay, Max. May continue on your stupid conversation. I'm gonna go see what the heck the sun is doing. We need to kill Hina like 50 times.
Sure.
No, seriously. Hina
Okay.
died like 50 times.
Sure.
For context, Christian is investigating Sun's game, and Sun has a character named Hina, so that's what they mean.
And Christian sucks because you. Okay.
Christian sucks.
Sorry.
Back on topic.
Design cycles.
So we first create a design. What next?
Oh yeah, for our rep project, right?
Yes, yes.
We have to scale it down from 4-dimensional tesseractoids and Vex robotics turning point systems into maybe LEDs.
There's one problem with what you're saying here, because I don't think anyone understands what the fourth dimensional texture will have to do with any of this nonsense.
Well, that's because in like design, well, this is more design thinking, I guess. It's more design thinking because you consider.
How do you consider fourth dimensional tesseractoids to be even remotely semi-valid?
No, because it's like instead of, for example, well, maybe dropping 4-dimensional
You
tesseractoids
can't
into
access the
the
fourth dimension, unless you're talking about space-time, which we are basically living in right now.
Well, but it's like design thinking. You can create like any crazy idea in front of it, but then from your crazy idea, you can extract things that's slightly viable. So, for example, if like you were tackling a
So
problem.
how does the fourth dimensional terratractoid transform something that's more realistic?
For example, if you were to tackle like a problem about the transportation problem in Vietnam, because it's like
Yeah.
really crowded,
Yeah.
you could suggest an idea of like we should have a teleportation system, but you can't do that at this point.
That's crazy.
So from the teleportation system, well, the qualities of teleportation system that fits into this problem integrates well into like a solution for the problem, like the quickness, the unnecessarily the not the non-need for the non-necessity of like space being taken up at a certain
So
time.
from your first initial
Crazy idea.
design, you first pick out like the possible problems with it, and from it you modify your design, and then you build it.
I guess something like that, and then you also have to research too.
But then why is it a cycle? Why is it a cycle?
Because there's the last portion of the design cycle, which is like reflection or something along the lines of that.
So
where-
basically, you reflect on your design after you create it, and then you're like, oh, this part is wrong, this part is correct, and then you proceed to fix those parts up in your next design. Is that why it's a cycle?
I think that's what it is.
I mean, I don't know. You've had experience with it like 6 times. I think you should probably know how it works.
You're in the same class, so
I don't know what I'm doing.
nice.
Like actually, all I do is I just sit there and I'm like, oh, this looks cool. Poke, poke, poke.
Christian is coming again.
Christian's gonna kill us again. Stop talking about 4th-dimensional tesseractoids.
Why not?
I mean, yeah, they're a cool idea to branch away from craziness to normality, but then he's gonna kill me.
Good child.
He's old.
I'm not a child, you little sinister.
I know
Kid.
I'm younger than you, but I can always do censor you.
Are you same height?
He's actually
I'm shorter.
he's actually
Oh.
150.
I'm 170. Almost like not even 180, like 175.
Oh, that's like a toddler's height.
You're 179, Max. But I can't really say anything.
You're gonna pour water over my phone.
Maybe throw it waterproof. Spread water resistant for the knife. Sure.
Step 1, bring a knife. Step 2, stab.
Step 3,
Christian's
question mark. Step 4, profit.
And that's a design cycle.
That's our design cycle.
Hmm.
Where can we get a knife?
I have a knife too.
Well, first of all, we have to figure out where we can acquire a knife. For instance, we have to find
Research.
shops, research, and we would also have to figure out what kind of knife we need. Do we need a sharp knife? Do we need a dull knife? We know that a phone. We know that a phone is made of some high polymer stuff, so we can't have a very dull knife. We need to have something that is blade pointy.
Max, here's the thing. You just need to pierce the phone.
Yeah, but to pierce the phone, you need something sharp. You can't have something like blunt.
You could
So you're looking for a sharp weapon.
You're looking for. Hina, put the phone down.
Is it 6 or 6?
Hina, put the phone down. Great, Hina, you just messed up the audio.
Doesn't
It's gonna
matter.
be
Doesn't
cut
matter.
anyways because it has your stupid voice. in
No, it
isn't
isn't.
Well, anyways,
No.
that's the first step. The second step after researching is to figure out. We now know like 2 or 3 locations that have the possible knives, so we go there and then we look at the possible
A
options.
spike would be much easier to use.
Back to my origin topic.
A spike would be
Afterwards,
much easier.
afterwards, see, this is why you're redelegated back to audio tech.
I'm censoring that. Thank you. Also, didn't we say no tech?
What?
Isn't that like an integral part of STEM? STEAM?
T literally is technology.
Streams.
S is science.
T is.
Technology.
R is.
R.
STEAM.
R is robotics, I guess.
E.
E is engineering.
A.
Arts and
M.
Mathematics or
Mathematics.
mechanics?
The other S.
solar flares.
You're
No.
Stupidity.
Back on the original topic. So afterwards, you buy 1 or 2 of those knives and then you test it out. You buy those knives, you stab it on the phone, to Christian's phone, and
Or like a
run away as
prototype
Christian's stabbing
phone.
us. Christian's getting our knife and stabbing at us.
Are you being serious? You're joking.
No. But then afterwards, after we somehow survive Christian's
What
carnage,
type of knife
we look
would
at Christian's phone, and then we realize
Observe
that,
the damage.
It was
Observe
Max's
damage.
phone.
and only from this will we learn that a blunt knife or a blade knife will or will not work, and from this we can adjust
Isn't
what
that
knife to
more like
buy.
Scientific cycle. What's that called?
Scientific inquiry.
Scientific process, or something like that.
What's the difference? What's the difference?
There is no difference.
Search it up.
Sure.
No Siri.
No Siri.
No
No
Siri.
Siri.
Type.
I'm sorry, but Cortana's extremely jealous of you.
What?
Cortana's extremely jealous of Siri.
Cortana.
What is Cortana?
Windows Assistant.
Windows Assistant, also a character from Halo.
Cortana.
Cortana. She be in Halo 5. I don't remember what she did in Halo 5.
She inhaled.
Yeah, she's a
Scientific method versus engineering design process.
What's the difference?
Isn't like here? It's scientific method according to www.sciencebuddy.org.
totes trustworthy.
Toads.
Like I guess it has more troubleshooting and procedures. And it has
I think the biggest difference is the scientific method is about you have a
proving something.
you have a question. You have like a scientific question that you need to solve, and then as a result you collect data through experiments, and from this you realize that this works or this doesn't work. Engineering method, on the other hand, the difference is that engineering problem method has a real life application problem. Like it's a differentiation between theoretical and applied. I guess.
Theoretical and applied.
Yeah. Applied engineering is like engineering method would cycle would be like
And
try
sun
to
is
make
here.
things.
Son, how many times have you murdered Hina?
But you can kind of
Once.
combine them, I guess.
How many times
Yeah.
have you drowned Hina?
But
That's
stop,
not something
stop,
I can decide.
stop, get out.
Wow, bullying tiny, cute little sophomores.
I mean, this is the guy who made characters in the game just to kill them off.
And Tongue is here too.
You can ignore him.
Ah.
Are
I
you
didn't
here
want.
because
I
you're
didn't
sad?
plan
Yeah,
on
because
killing
I'm
them. I
not
was just.
Oh, that's so
It was just a
cute.
joke,
Thank
and
you.
you guys
You're
wanted me to
cute
kill
too.
them.
Christian, you have a lot of things to cut out.
Oh, I know.
So to be fair,
Son, shut up. Tom, shut up.
Son, shut up. Tongue, shut up. If you want to talk, please go back to your original table.
I mean, hey, a podcast
If you're gonna
is
stay
full of
here-
mistakes.
5-person podcast
If you're
again?
if you're gonna stay here, stay silent. Christian, cut all of this out.
No,
You seem like a dictator.
Christian, cut all of this out.
I'm just gonna edit in just one bit of Max is a dictator.
I'm
I've
not a
already said it.
dictator. I'm not a dictator.
Horse is a dictator.
No,
It's
he's
just-
a great leader of our club.
Leader.
Dictator.
Who was this?
Okay,
Oh,
design
hey, back to
cycles,
you.
engineering cycles.
Okay.
This
well,
is just chaos
with
part.
the
This is just chaos
introduction
part zero.
of Sun, with his creation of Max in a video game, meant to kill people because Hina, oh my god, the crumbling.
Oh my god, Hina, please.
Okay, that's gonna kill me.
Hina.
No, that's legitimately going to kill me when I have to edit this.
Your ears are
My ears won't bleed. I'm just gonna cry.
So here's the engineering method for audio of
Yeah.
MMP. Step 1, we create a really horrendous audio clip. Step 2, Christian listens to it, and step 2, Christian realizes that this is a problem, this is a problem, this is a problem, and this is not a problem. For instance, crumbling sounds are a problem.
I think that's more scientific method because you're trying to investigate how to make the best audio ever.
The best
That would be
audio-
scientific method. The engineering method is to create a program that automatically removes Christian's worst nightmares.
I call a gun and point it to my head.
Let's not get too dark here.
Fine. A jug of bleach, a cup, and me.
Christian,
Okay,
please,
fine.
for
Old
the love
age.
of all that,
Old
for the
age
love of all
is
that is
sickness.
holy, please cut this part out.
You want to talk about holy?
Is this typing okay?
Oh
No.
sure, typing's fine. Just don't slam it. Okay, Max was a background noise editor. Most of it would be cut out.
Thank God.
Who are you talking to, Tom? You just typed, there's children dying in Africa, you spoiled brat.
Okay, then
Spoiled
let me
brat.
rephrase this. There's children dying in Africa, you spoiled brat!
Is that a meme or something?
No,
Okay, sorry about that.
unless it's a Gordon Ramsay thing.
I could. Gordon Ramsay.
I like how this first started serious and then it quickly devolved into
my
some
poem.
what the fuck.
Language! I have to edit that now.
I know it devolved into some like what.
If I get to,
I'm
if
pretty
you
sure
get
that
to curse, I don't get to curse because I'm trying to keep PG-13.
Just cut it out.
Why can't we curse? We aren't even a monetized.
Weinberg.
Oh, right.
Oh, I think the viewers are...
Tina, let's
Hey, Max.
just move to their table.
Sure.
You're no king.
Let's be back.
Max is king. Which means
And the fish is coming, which means it's by default. It's gonna be terrible! Yeah!
Yay!
this is now the most weirdest episode.
This is the worst word. No, that'll be next episode.
No, well, next episode doesn't exist yet.
Oh, that's true.
Corporate secrets.
Now I actually have to cut it.
Question.
Corporate secrets.
Hey, así no solo decir. And your water bottle's still along there all by itself.
Let's just go back there. Note to Christian, please, for the love of all that is holy, don't make this too terrible.
Wait, for the viewers, do they enjoy like the chaos more or the straight STEM talk more?
I think they like straight STEM. Actually, I don't know, because a lot of people that listen to this are like non-existent. Because we're just talking for a meme.
Okay, Weinberg. Mr. Weinberg.
Who doesn't love chaos?
Hey, yay, entropy!
Back on the original topic. Where were we again?
Scientific cycles, scientific process method, and everyone's back again. An engineering method.
Oh. See, separated.
Scientific method, engineering method, engineering
Yay.
cycle,
Yay.
process.
Okay, fine. Let's just cut it short because Christian needs to go soon.
Not soon. Like I can spend 5 more minutes.
What are your thoughts on this entire nonsense?
That
What do you
entire
mean by what are
nonsense.
your thoughts?
What? No. What are your thoughts on the entire nonsense?
What do you mean? like, oh, the engineering method versus
Yeah,
scientific.
Yeah.
They look slightly different things, so you can't really compare between them.
They're
What?
slightly different
What?
things.
They apply to different things.
Who's more attractive, Max Kim or Christian Duh?
No,
That's kind
Hina.
of like this, but it's you can still
But
compare
that's
them.
but that's scientific method because you first need to measure data. You need to ask people.
Also
You need to collect
bias.
data,
We need to have a very unbiased sample size.
statistics.
Yep.
And from this experiment, you can now then measure the
How much plastic
significance,
surgery
the critical
will you need
significance
to change
value, or
Max
critical
to
value,
Christian?
compared to that, and then you can draw conclusions from that data. And that's scientific method. Engineering method would be to actually create.
Something that makes people like people.
But it's describe the
It's called
problem.
drugs.
Define
So
the
scientific
problem.
method is like obtaining data to solve a problem. Engineering method is actually creating a solution to the problem.
Yay.
I think that's a big difference.
But
I
that
mean, you use the
sounds
scientific method
more
to
like-
get data to use in the engineering method to
Yeah,
create
so
a solution.
so they also interconnect in that way.
Mhm.
Yay, interconnections. And everyone's back here.
Son, shut up or we kick you. Good child.
Wait, but then doesn't that
Son's not squatting? Oh no.
But that doesn't that what?
But doesn't Christian saying that son shut up or you will die or something, doesn't that interfere with him because he's talking?
Yeah, you don't talk anyway.
And he is existing, which wait, what's the difference between like should we talk about the difference between design cycle and design thinking or something?
What's that?
Design thinking?
What's that? Yeah.
Crumbling.
Thinking. Like, design cycles like making things,
Yes.
right? And it's like you should go through many different design cycles. I'm not sure if you should go through many different design thinking cycles.
He can't cut that out. It's fine. Anyways, yeah. What's that thinking?
But design thinking is more like it's kind of like finding a solution to something, but except for more human issues because there's empathize,
So it's like humanistic version of design cycle.
I guess. But you don't really
What if,
You
what,
make
what if you're
something.
what if you're making something that solves like humanistic problems?
something like that, I guess.
So it's interdisciplinary, basically.
Maybe.
You have this side of things. You have like the thing one considers humans, and then this part of thing that's engineering, and then you merge those two in the design thinking.
What
But I guess it's like you could also use this as replacement for a design cycle
How so?
because it's emphasize, define, ideate, prototype, test, implement, and like
Explain them all, will ya?
Empathize is like, for example, if you were trying to find a solution to the same problem of trying to solve the traffic, you would first maybe like experience the traffic yourself in order to figure out like the nitty gritty details that you wouldn't really notice unless you were involved in that.
Yeah.
And then define is you would use your research from your emphasization stage, and then you try to define like what is the main cause of the issue or problem or something along that you're trying to solve. And ideate is when you try to
Audio, really? I mean, the microphone.
What's ideate?
oh ideate is you try to figure out like ideate really crazy ideas and problems solutions to what you define as your problem, but they can be like super crazy, like involving tesseracts all with their fourth dimension.
Sure.
And then after that, you would
No
have to like
dimensions.
Yeah, you actually need to keep it because it's actually really
I
critical.
know that is really critical. I get it, but still,
It's just a part of her. You can't change her.
I know. It's like how the both of us like to talk about history. Same goes with physics.
But
Like, we will not.
but
We
that's
will not
later.
say who this is.
Anyways,
and then in terms of like ideate, you also have to like refine your problems to going from the crazy tesseract first dimension in order to like and then refine it into something that's more plausible.
like say, example, how would you burn down a fourth-dimensional tesseract to something more plausible?
Maybe using three-dimensional cuboids,
Sure.
or taking like the elements of a tesseractoid, like the mysticalness of it, and then maybe using like laser beams because they're somewhat mystical, I guess,
Sure.
if you're used in the right context.
Sure.
And then you would prototype, which means you would try and execute that in real life.
Sure.
So I guess this is where design cycle comes in. You could replace in prototyping for design cycle, and then you'll test your prototype.
Yeah.
And then after that, I guess you have to repeat these a lot of times, which is similar to design cycle.
And
then
at the end, if it works, then you implement it, right?
implement it. Yes.
Very interesting.
It's becoming like quite trendy, or like
Oh, really?
in Japan,
Oh, it's 24 minutes. Oh,
because
thank God.
to
You're
like,
cutting like 10 minutes of it out.
to
No,
have
like 2 really. Depends.
to have camps based on design thinking 101 because of the creation of a lot of schools that like UWC Japan who like set the trend for that. I'm getting off topic, but whatever.
No, it's fine. It's
Oh,
fine.
speaking of Japan, Japan's suicide rates are now stupidly high.
Are they like
Why-
higher than Korea's or something?
Oh no, they're worse than Korea's.
Wait, why is that
Nice.
happening?
Let's see here.
Let's first conduct research and develop an understanding of your users. Empathize.
Emphasize with the Japanese people with how suicidal their students are.
So
Not-
students, right?
Most
Students,
students.
right?
Son, the table. Come on, man.
Can you stop screaming?
Isn't it because students are like really overworked in Japan?
Yeah.
And it's like there's not enough.
I
like,
mean,
like, what's your opinion on this? Because you're Japanese.
I haven't really. There's like
School.
it's usually in my parents' generation. It was like one test. If you fail it, you don't get into school. If you pass it, then you get into the school. and
It's the
kinda
it's
like
the high school examination, right?
that.
oh,
Yeah,
Vietnam
something
has
like
that too, except we're not suicidal, like at all. You wanna guess why?
It's more.
Now we are defining, combining our research and observing how it works. So I think we come to the conclusion that this big test culture pressure in Japan's
It's
Asia,
not Korea.
Asia mostly.
mostly Asia, yeah, is causing people
Isn't that how, like
to.
China or something?
China, not that.
South Korea's also kind of okay-ish. on
There's
that.
also like the
South Korea's
social.
trying to get better rule reforms.
Yeah.
Japan does jack crap.
Yeah, no, they're changing the university applications and university applications so that they'll be quite different. So hopefully that'll impact the system. And they're implementing coding and compulsory coding into their elementary schools, which is
Nice.
a whole nother can of sesseracs.
Another great way to make sure computer science as a major dies in 20 years because there's too many of them.
Yay.
Ideate, generate a range of crazy creative ideas to solve this problem. I say we put spikes on all the roofs so people can't suicide anymore.
You also lock the doors when they're testing.
Well, but there's also like other issues other than testing if we get a bit more serious. Like
Sure.
the social aspect of it.
That's defined again. Okay, anyways,
Sorry.
yeah.
I mean,
Like the
oh, that's-
social aspect, because like a lot of people, not recently, but a few years ago, someone was on the news for committing suicide because her job was too hard.
Oh,
Which was-
really?
Yeah, that was like,
So what if we ban people from working difficult things? That's the ideate.
That's
maybe
idea.
you should use like Google. Some companies use this. I think they use a
I'll
system
cover
of
that.
10%. That 10% of the work has to be non-related to strictly work.
That is prototype, creating
Yay.
actual possible options.
But it's also the ID part, I guess, because you're trying
Oh,
to
actually,
yeah.
you know what also I could help with?
What?
Suicide machine.
suicide. What?
Suicide machine?
Yeah.
Why would you need one?
I don't know.
That's not a great way to accelerate suicide rates.
I mean,
Don't do that.
Okay, fine.
Please don't do that. If you're listening to this, please do not commit suicide. Thank
We
you.
really don't. We really do not recommend it. If you're pretty suicidal, call whatever national suicide hotline is in your country.
On a more serious.
Unfortunately, we cannot test this because I don't think any government will accept our crazy ideas yet.
No, yet.
On a more like serious note. Like,
Until we go totalitarian.
Let's go to
Okay, closing remarks.
let's go to more toasty.
What's a toaster?
So first of all,
What's a
how,
toaster?
how are,
Seriously, what
how
is a
are
toaster?
you going home?
Car.
Car?
No, also
What
visiting,
other opportunities do you have?
an autobahn.
Autobahn?
An autobahn.
Alto.
Seriously, we need to finish this now. I should be gone in like a minute.
So it's
Well,
like
I guess
10
no
minutes
example
or
then.
something.
Yeah.
Just
So what's a toaster?
do you
Let's
want
finish. What's
do
a
you
toaster?
want to include the suicide part or not?
Oh heck no.
No, don't do.
Don't do
Can
it.
you remove
No.
like all of it?
I will. I'm gonna remove the point. I tend to joke about suicide. But
Can you remove like from the point that you've talked about like Japan's suicide is really high?
Fine. Okay, just let's finish this off with Max. What's a toaster?
What's a
Are
toaster?
you legally binded to not be able to say that or
What's
something?
a toaster?
Did you sign a contract that legally binds you?
Dude, imagine someone's listening to this and they're like, it goes from, so we're talking about presenting into suddenly, what's a toaster?
Well, I mean,
Bam! We need to empathize with them. We need to conduct research on how those people think on this entire issue of sudden jump changes.
we will see you next week. I have to go home.
Afterwards, we also need to define our problems.
Oh my
we
God.
need to define we need to combine all our research. We need to figure out. So Hina, what would you think if people were
Toasting.
if you were listening to something and it suddenly changes topics?
Like, isn't that kind of spontaneous evolution, and that's kind of fun sometimes?
So it's fun sometimes, but also
Max,
terrible
it's me.
sometimes.
Also,
For
Max,
example?
it's me.
No, that's what you're saying. That's
Isn't that like
defined.
You go from something
I
very
physics
depressing
maybe?
for a nice
Yes.
while before something
Afterwards,
that
we need to ideate. We need to generate crazy creative ideas. So we need to make this. We need to make the sudden change fun yet crazy because you like fun things and you also like crazy things.
Oh my god, hurry up.
Design cycle because you're trying to create something that.
Yes, but this is a very crazy idea. We need to
Oh, speaking
prototype it. As a
speaking
result,
of
we
crazy
should
ideas.
as a result we should go from something simple to something that's also pretty simple.
Oh, here's
That's
a really
prototype.
simple thing. It's like having PewDiePie host meme review to having Elon Musk host meme review.
That's a prototype. That's a prototype in action.
Then
That's
testing it
That's
is
testing.
the video, but implementing it is uploading the video.
No, implementing this is if we've done a lot of these tests and if it
As
finally
Elon
works.
Musk has run about 20 episodes of meme review.
This kid is
I know
trying to
why.
test it really hard by giving random topics and like
Well,
hammer.
I have to go home, so we need to finish this episode. Closing remarks now.
Well,
I like how Christian.
well, that
trying-
was a fun example of design thinking. But and yeah,
I like
I
how-
leave now.
anything you want?
Hurry the heck
Anything you want to say?
Not really. I like how Christian tries to be cool. But
Oh my
Yeah.
god, hurry up.
Yeah, me too. I like how he's pissed at me.
We are ending now. Give me my phone. Give me my phone.
Okay, we'll see you next week. Christian's attacking me. Help!
Next week, big episode.